What's good YouTube, and welcome to the house. Funny enough, when I started market news on the channel, one of my most controversial segments would seem to be talking case ratios, even if I would cite and vet my sources, even if I would be consistent. Market man bad, card spike cause of him. I took yesterday off to celebrate my birthday with the wife, and you know the difference between me talking about case ratios versus the actual market dictating itself? It's more so that only a couple of people behind closed doors that have gotten access to the ratios early on had a chance at the mad scramble early. So throughout last night and this morning, yeah, I know I was still working while I was taking time off. I watched Invocation spike from 12 to 14 to 41. I watched 10,000 Dragon go to $2,000, which is a little ridiculous when we start talking about its ratio. And then looking at the rest of the Numeron stuff is still up there, people trying to get those high prices, and the rest of the things that are shorted sure are going a bit crazy. Who would have thought that Konami would cash in on Invocation twice like this? So I actually want to use this visual representation off Reddit Yu-Gi-Oh! Thanks to Cold Snap SP and talk ratios and what's missing with the Starlight rares. Let's actually just go ahead and get into that first. I have one USA source that I'm very confident in, but he wants to rename Anon, you know, the cases from Anon, and then Tier 0 as well. Both of them are telling me that they've pulled better than the average number of usual Starlights if you're also counting 10,000 Dragon. So it's just Utopia and 10,000 Dragon. One of them out of 14 cases pulled 9, and Tier 0 also said they beat the better than average of 2 cases, but it was still very close to there. So it could just be luck on both of their sides, but both of them are reporting that they're pulling more Starlights than the average of their openings. I believe it was specifically 4 Utopias and 5 10,000 Dragons for the USA vendor, and then Tier 0 hasn't given me the exact numbers yet. So we are seeing that 10,000 Dragon is kind of mirroring that OCG hype. I personally think for the TCG that the Utopia will do better over time, but it looks very similar to an OCG card to a lot of people, and that gives some kind of negative stigma. I still think Utopia, we have these new age collectibles, and I think over time it will actually pass 10,000 Dragons if there's not a lot of OCG influence on the market. Now let's talk about what's on the screen and what's shorted and actual ratios on a bigger case pull than the singular case, but it's still a great representation. Invocation is about 2 to 3 per case, so this guy actually beat the odds a little, as well as on Chaos Emperor Dragon. He's also around 2 to 3 per case, the Armageddon, and so he did pretty well here. All of the jump monsters are shorted, so that is the Dark Arm Dragon, the Red Eyes Darkness Metal, the JD, which he actually pulled quite a few of, and the Trishula, so he beat the odds on, I guess, the one you might not necessarily want to beat the odds on. The Fossil Spells, several of them are shorted. Miracle Rupture, which I believe is the Rock Foolish Burial, and Time Stream. You can see there's also different levels of shorts, right? Like certain ones are more towards 2, 3, 4, and other ones go into the 5, 6. So there's different levels of like Omega short, and then you know, better. And then Skull Knight is also extremely shorted here. He only pulled 2. I do believe that is actually more so correct in terms of the mass ratios. Numerons, you're pulling them by the boatload. It's almost like Konami knows what they're doing with their future products and ban lists and that kind of stuff. I could see S0 when that no sooner than expires, and we might actually get an update. They might take care of S0 sooner than later. Like in the past, you've seen Pankratops and Red Reboot common, and then they end up on the FNL list and replaced with something expensive like Lightning Storm. Let's not get into ban list debates while talking ratios, but I definitely think that Konami, whenever you see a surprise like this, has an ulterior motive, and history repeats itself. Do pay attention in how you're investing in the Numerons, and think about how you might be playing if S0 happened to get banned. We see that Madolce Angeli is not the most, but still pretty easy to get. And most of the cards, yeah, you're just going to be pulling a lot of them, besides the short prints. Yeah, I know. If they score the touchdown, they played the football is basically what I just said. We're always doing it live over here. Let's talk prices, though. I don't think the 10,000 Dragon with this ratio is going to keep up. I want to put this in perspective. With Starlights and core sets, you have 4 to 5 different ones, and we only have 2 here, and they're actually seeing a higher pull rate among multiple vendors ahead of time. So you're talking less different options and you're pulling more of them. Now, granted, Battles of Legend early on, its secondary market price for its box has gone up a pretty good amount. You could pre-order these at 58 and they're already sitting here 90, and we aren't even to the release. I'm hoping for some coolant on the market once you actually see shops get this in hand. Maybe it goes down towards 80, 75, but right now we're still sitting around $90 all around the market. People aren't able to get boxes on the low and very cheap. Utopia is chilling out here, and my personal call is that this is the better thing to grab, especially if you're going big boy purchases using my TCG player link in the description down below, costing you nothing extra to support the channel directly, whether it's penny stonks or starlights. I definitely think that this card has the better long-term potential when it comes down to it. This is a special thing. You have so many people who got into Yu-Gi-Oh! Because of Zexal getting into their real jobs, getting money, and they're gonna look at this being like, wow, and really want it. And the 10,000 Dragon feels like it's more something from approved market beforehand, and that does not always translate over here. That's just my take on it, though. Let me know in the comment section down below how you feel these two cards are gonna pan out. Chaos Emperor Dragon, man, I had so many missed darts with the sets. Besides, this set's gonna job the gold series towards the end. I had so many missed marks. Chaos Emperor Dragon, I thought even double the demand, that half the quantities of Minerva, it would end up around 30. Here we see it towards 70. Something's gotta sell the set, and for once it really is the prize card. Besides the Starlights, it's starting to look like. The Numerons, I think, will start to chill out a little, especially with ban list fears maybe coming up and these ratios being more public. We see the F-Zero Utopic slash, I believe that also in the picture was like half. It's not the shortest thing in the world, but it's still up here on TCG Player. It's the sorry, spoiler conversation. It's definitely the one of the things people were looking forward to, but I think it's the wrong F-Zero that, or the wrong like thing that we're looking forward towards when it comes to the future cards. I think people are getting that one mixed up a little. And then the hollow out stuff is still up here. We'll definitely see a ton of prices crash in the next couple days. So don't necessarily buy into this hype. There's only a couple of things I actually would go for right now. Like, I personally think the Utopia is a good buy. I've never heard so many people declare they were going to get it at 500. So while people are chomping on this, I personally would be thinking about the Utopia, especially with how terribly short this product is, and the fact that Konami has stated Starlights won't get reprinted in unlimited if this somehow ever got an unlimited product. Now, before we get to those future conversations, not actually a sellout, I just wanted to bring to people's attention, Fnatic has been doing an amazing job with Yu-Gi-Oh! Collectibles. I've got to wait for my cart to get big enough for free shipping at some point to pick me up some coasters, unless you want to send those into the P.O. box. A Seal of Orichalcos coaster, making sure you keep the heat out. But these coins, and actually these God Card metal slabs, people seem to really like, and they have a gold version coming on pre-order. I just got myself the metal ones here. And over on Zavvi, if you're in the market for the plain metal ones, there's not really a deal on the gold ones. It's about the same price, but these are $20, and I've only had good experiences with Zavvi's, but I've read customer reports that if you ever have to deal with their customer service, you might be in for a bad time. So you might want to order direct from Fnatic, but you can save some money over at Zavvi. Sorry, no code What's Good 5 here or anything, just some genuinely cool collectibles that I enjoy talking about. Now, I wanted to talk about the collector market actually kind of silently falling out during this time while all this hype is diverted. We're actually seeing Blackluster Soldier go down relatively in price. Well, the $320 one is gone. Color to be surprised, but we've seen it been bought out to 400 and continue to fall out, and people slowly take the bottom ones, accepting the price begrudgingly. But when it also comes down to stuff like Stardust Dragon here, this card was bought out to the point of 400 as well, and is now dipping under 300 somewhat fast. And the rest of them, besides Desires had a recent buyout, don't seem to be garnering too much attention. Desires is weird to me because it has the ultimate rare and people went in anyways, but almost every single one is hitting some of its new lows slash recurring to its lows, and kind of focus has shifted away, especially with unlimited Toon Chaos coming. I think that with Toon Chaos as well, I'm going to repeat this, the singles for how busted open Toon Chaos will be just because of that hunger that I didn't get in there and I've been waiting and I'll pay for that unlimited box. A lot of these singles are about to dip in price, and you're going to get the best deals you possibly could on them, in my opinion. An X-Trap as low as 40. It's beautiful. You love to see that. But yeah, in other news, we see Pot of Desires it went up in price. It got a little bit of a buyout. And I wanted to talk about the Starlight market because these are all new markets when we're talking Starlights with Battles of Legends. We've seen some things stabilize and go down over time. I think they're just kind of high priced despite how low quantity on market they are to see rolling buyouts. Remember, Apollos' peak was when it was being played 3 of in the extract and just kind of stuck. And over time, now it's towards 1080, 1090 on market. Win is creeped back under that 1,000. It tried to cling to 1,200 so hard, and it's gone back down as one of the charmers. And when will the next time the charmers get hyped to be after that structure deck releases in the TCG? Where will be the last scramble for that? Will they continue to get updates in core sets? Like, what's really going to drive the Starlight market on these? But you see throughout time, the Rising Rampage is one of the first sets for it, and even the trash ones have gone up to try to stick towards that $200 stamp. So I wanted to actually point out as well that Eternity Code Starlights have kind of evened out towards that lower end as well. The Ghost Mourner, way under market price. Area, my bad, was bought out at one point and is kind of chilling at that price. You see the market price and it's above it. The Dragon Maid, surprising that actually, despite them being my nemesis, that it's chilling like this. And you see the Traptrix one. So while it's starting towards this point, none of these are trash necessarily in terms of like people didn't want them, they ignored them at first. All of these were pretty good picks by Konami, and we have bangers of core sets heading forward. I think we're going to see that bottom end continue to be 200 for a while, but how's it actually going to pan out over time? It's still a very new market, so be careful in how you're buying. You're seeing collector rares buckle right now, even though they're being compared to Starlights. You're seeing Starlights actually dip over time till they get their rolling buyouts. Be careful with how you do spend your money and make wise decisions with the collectibles. That's why I like Utopia. That's a very collectible card if we're talking Starlights in a set that's already up in price. And gee, I did not see this. Is that really the lowest first edition box on market now? Sometimes Market Man does get it right. I told you guys to hold on to this sealed, and oh my gosh. So, thank you guys for watching today's Market Watch and ratios on Blar. Again, this does come with confirmation from Tier 0 and another big USA vendor who does wish to remain anon, confirming a lot of this and then giving the Starlight ratios. Please subscribe if you haven't already. Give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed the conversation, and do consider, you know, letting me know down below which Starlight / 20th anniversary 10k rare you think is going to be better out of this pack, Utopia or 10,000 Dragon, long term.